Hey, quick question. What if I told you that sending money from the US to Japan like right now, while you're watching this video, could be done in 4 seconds? Not for days, not for hours, for seconds. Because right now, if your mom needs emergency cash abroad or you're paying a freelancer in another country, the traditional banking system is going to make you wait 3 to 5 business days. And charge you a fee that feels like a penalty for simply wanting to help someone. That's not a technical limitation. That's just the system we've accepted for decades. But there's a technology quietly changing all of that. And today we're going to break it down in the simplest way possible. No jargon, no finance degree required. Stick around because by the end of this video you're going to see money completely differently. Let me paint you a picture. Meet Sophia. She lives in Mexico City. Her son Carlos just moved to London to start his first job, but his first paycheck is 2 weeks away and rent is due tomorrow. Sophia wants to send him $500 fast. She walks into her bank. The teller smiles and says, "No problem." She fills out the forms, pays a $25 transfer fee, and then, she waits. Day 1 nothing. Day 2 still nothing. Day 3 Carlos calls. He's stressed. The landlord is knocking. Day 4 the money finally arrives. But wait, after currency conversion fees and the receiving bank's charges, Carlos only gets $455. Sophia paid $25 to send money that took 4 days to arrive and lost $20 more along the way. On a $500 transfer, that's nearly 10% gone. Now, this isn't a story about one family. This happens millions of times every single day across the world, and the system behind all of this? It's called SWIFT. SWIFT stands for the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication. Impressive name. But here's what it actually does. Think of SWIFT like the postal service but for financial messages between banks. When Sophia's bank in Mexico wants to send money to a bank in London, they don't have a direct line. So they pass a message through a chain of middlemen banks, sometimes 2, sometimes 5, each one verifying the transaction and taking their cut. SWIFT was built in 1973. Back then it was revolutionary, but today, the world moves at the speed of a text message and SWIFT is still operating like a chain of fax machines. Every bank in the chain adds time, adds fees, adds uncertainty, and the worst part. Nobody tells Sophia exactly where her money is at any given moment. It just disappears into the system and hopefully comes out the other end. There had to be a better way, and someone built one. Enter XRP. Now, before your eyes glaze over thinking this is just another crypto lecture, stay with me, because XRP is actually very different from most cryptocurrencies you've heard about. It wasn't built to replace your dollar or become internet money for buying pizza. XRP was specifically designed to solve one problem: moving money across borders, fast and cheap. The company behind it is called Ripple. Think of Ripple as the tech company and XRP as the tool they built. Ripple's goal was simple. What if instead of passing messages through a chain of banks, you could use a digital bridge currency that converts, transfers, and converts back all in seconds? That's exactly what XRP does. And here's the cool part: you don't need to know anything about crypto to use it. The banks and payment companies handle it on the back end. For the end user, it just feels like fast money. Let me break down exactly how an XRP-powered transfer works. 3 simple steps. Step 1: convert. Sophia's $500 in Mexican pesos gets instantly converted into XRP, a digital currency that works as the bridge. This happens automatically on the Ripple network. Step 2: transfer. That XRP is sent across the XRP ledger, a decentralized network, directly to a receiving point in London. No middlemen, no chain of banks. This step takes roughly 3 to 5 seconds. Step 3: convert back. On the London side, the XRP is automatically converted into British pounds and deposited into Carlos's account. Start to finish? Under 10 seconds. Fees? Often just fractions of a cent on the network itself. Transparency? Every transaction is recorded on a public ledger, trackable in real time. Compare that to SWIFT's 4-day relay race and suddenly it feels like we've jumped from horse-drawn carriages to a high-speed train. Let's put them side by side real quick. SWIFT takes 3 to 5 business days. XRP takes 3 to 5 seconds. SWIFT charges anywhere from $15 to $50 or more in fees. XRP costs fractions of a cent. SWIFT passes your money through multiple middlemen banks. XRP has none. SWIFT gives you limited visibility into where your money is. XRP records every transaction on a fully public ledger. And while SWIFT only operates during business hours, XRP runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. One of these was built for the 1970s. The other was built for right now. Now you might be wondering, if this is so great, why isn't everyone using it already? Fair question. The truth is, adoption is growing but slowly and carefully, as you'd expect with anything touching global finance. Ripple has partnered with financial institutions and payment providers across more than 50 countries. Companies like Santander, SPY Holdings in Japan, and various money transfer services have explored or tested Ripple-based technology for cross-border payments. The Central Bank of Palau partnered with Ripple to explore digital currency infrastructure. Several remittance corridors, particularly in Southeast Asia and Latin America, are actively using RippleNet, the network that powers these transactions. Is it replacing SWIFT tomorrow? No, the global financial system doesn't move that fast. But the momentum is real, and the interest from institutions is genuine. Think of it like the early days of email. Fax machines didn't disappear overnight, but eventually the better technology won. Alright, let's clear up a few things because XRP gets a lot of confusion around it. Misconception number 1: XRP is controlled by banks. Actually, the XRP ledger is decentralized. It's maintained by a global network of independent validators, not Ripple, not any single bank. Ripple, the company, built it and holds a large amount of XRP, but they don't control the network itself. Misconception number 2: it's just like Bitcoin. Not quite. Bitcoin uses a system called proof of work, which is energy intensive and slower. XRP uses a consensus protocol that's faster, greener, and specifically designed for payments, not speculation. Misconception number 3: it's too risky for real finance. XRP has been operating since 2012 and has processed billions of transactions. Risk exists in any evolving technology, but calling it unproven at this point isn't accurate. Understanding what something actually is versus what people assume it is how you stay informed in a world full of noise. Here's where it gets really interesting. Right now, there are 1.4 billion unbanked adults in the world. People without access to traditional banking systems, no savings account, no credit, no easy way to receive money from family abroad. For them, a technology like XRP isn't just convenient. It could be genuinely life-changing. Imagine a migrant worker sending money home to rural Philippines directly to a mobile wallet in seconds with almost no fees. No bank account required. No money transfer shop with a 10% cut. Or imagine small businesses in emerging markets being able to pay international suppliers without waiting days for funds to clear, allowing them to compete on a global stage for the first time. Faster payments. Lower costs. Fewer barriers. That's not just a finance upgrade, that's a shift in who gets to participate in the global economy. And while the technology still has regulatory hurdles, technical challenges, and fierce competition, the direction it's pointing is hard to ignore. So here's where we land. XRP isn't magic. It's not a guaranteed revolution, and it's not going to replace the global banking system overnight. But it is a genuinely different approach to a problem that costs ordinary people billions of dollars and billions of hours every single year. Sophia shouldn't have to wait for days and lose 10% just to help her son pay rent, and technology exists right now that can fix that. The question is, will the world let it? And that brings me to you. Drop a comment below. Do you think XRP or technology like it will eventually replace systems like SWIFT? Or will the traditional banks always find a way to hold on? I read every comment and I genuinely want to know what you think. If you found this video useful, hit that like button, it genuinely helps more people find this content. And subscribe if you want more videos that break down complex financial topics in ways that actually make sense. I'll see you in the next one.